The media shapes who you are as a person. This isn't a groundbreaking thing to say. You know it, I know it, we all know it. But it's worth remembering and internalizing because we don't take it seriously enough. We like to think that we're in full control of who we are, but we're really not. The media we consume shapes how we think, feel, and see the world, which is why it's so important to be conscious about what you're watching, reading, and listening to, because it really does have an impact on you. When I was younger, and by younger I mean last year, as well as a couple times this year, I used to watch those rage bait videos of dudes reacting to horrible people acting crazy in public, as well as political news drama. And at the time, I thought it was just entertainment, but over time, I realized that it was just making me angry and hate people, which isn't who I want to be. If videos are causing you to be angry and hate people, then you probably shouldn't be watching them because when you have hatred for people, even if they aren't great people, you don't feel good about it since we're not designed to hate people. These days, it's common knowledge that social media isn't good for you, but you may not realize how much of a negative impact it's had on people. The decline in mental health happened as a result of social media becoming a part of daily life. Pew Research found that 48% of teens think social media has a mostly negative impact on people their age, and I bet if more of them were self-aware, that number would be even higher. But regardless, that's about 1 in 2 teens who think social media is mostly harming the mental health of teens. So people understand it's bad. For myself, although I don't use social media, I have gone on Twitter or X just out of curiosity, and every time I've gone there, I've had to go for a walk afterwards to recenter myself because of how horrible of a place it is. If you've spent any amount of time on Twitter and looked at the comments under posts, you quickly realize how much of a cesspool it is. It's just a platform full of angry and miserable people viciously attacking and insulting each other. Friendly behavior is just completely dead there. If they represented everyone, you'd think we were in a civil war because of how much everyone seems to hate each other there. But what's good to remember is that these people don't reflect your average person, because most people out in the world aren't vile internet goblins who impulsively insult strangers and shout their horrible opinions and ideas for everyone to hear. As social media took over the lives of everyone, mental health collapsed, and this is across the world. As you can see from the data, teens hurting themselves has significantly increased over time, especially with girls. And the biggest reason for this is that they develop low self-esteem from comparing themselves to the Instagram models they see, which you probably already knew. From 2010 to 2022, American teens with major depression increased 135% for girls and 161% for boys. In 2022, 28% of teen girls had it. That is not a small number. And with college students, anxiety and depression has skyrocketed, and I doubt it's because of a more intense curriculum. A study of UK teens found that teens who spend more hours per weekday on social media, the more likely they'll be depressed. Shocker. So it's clear that social media has ruined mental health. But why is this? Well, for girls, like I mentioned earlier, they're comparing themselves to Instagram models, and for people in general, they see people living perfect, luxurious lives and then look at their own average life and think it's crappy and boring. Also, social media is just full of vile content, narcissists, people sharing their crazy or messed up lives, opinions, and ideas. It's full of political content causing anger and hatred at the world and between people. And the comments are full of awful people projecting their misery onto others. So it's not surprising that it's ruining people's mental health. And because of people spending a lot of time on social media and media in general at home, they're spending less time with their friends, which is making people more isolated, which of course isn't good for them. So people really aren't doing themselves any good by using social media. Let's talk about the news. It is just not good for you. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't stay informed, but if news is consuming your daily life and putting you in a bad mood, then maybe you should take a break from it for a while. Because I don't know, maybe this is a crazy idea, but maybe your well being is more important than staying informed 24/7 about things that don't affect your life for the most part. Pew Research did a survey on Americans that found 46% of people who follow the news most of the time feel angry, 40% of people who follow the news some of the time feel angry, and 38% of people who follow the news less often feel angry. Additionally, 39% of people who follow the news most or some of the time feel sad. That's a significant amount of people who are voluntarily making themselves angry and sad. And as you can see from the data chart, the news is making far more people feel negative emotions than positive ones. So if you want to stay informed without ruining your mood every day, then maybe designate one day of the week to be your news day. A long time ago, people were just concerned with making the best of life and focused on their family, village, and jobs. And now everyone is learning about the tragedies happening all over the world every week and then wonder why they're unhappy. So I don't think it's normal and healthy for people to do it on a daily basis. If you put junk in your mind, you're going to feel like garbage. Also, it is insane how much influence the news has over people. If they want the country to despise a person, they can do a smear campaign and people will start hating that person. And if they want to fan the flame of public outrage to increase civil unrest and consequently their ratings, they can do that too. Every news outlet has complete control over how their audience feels about events, and they never wait for all the details to surface, so they can present flawed narratives that they may not correct later on. And even if they do, the narrative they first presented may be the story that spread among people. They have their agendas and the narratives they want to present. So just question the news you're hearing and do your own research into the stories to see if the narratives you were told are true, because there's a chance they're not. Or if you hear about something that happened, maybe wait until all the details surface before forming your opinion, because it may not be as straightforward as you think. Anyways, next time you're watching, reading, or listening to something, observe how it's making you think and feel. If you feel fine and feel like it's not a waste of your time, then great, you have nothing to worry about. But if it makes you feel negative or like you're wasting your time, then you should probably stop consuming that type of content because it's not serving you in any positive way. It can be easier said than done, but your future self will thank you. And if you're going to that negative content because you're bored, then that just means you need to find something better to do with your time, because wasting away isn't the answer, which is something I need to do better myself. Thank you for watching, and please consider leaving a like and sharing the video with someone.